After an already promising rookie season, Josh Giddey has continued to improve into his second year, proving that not only is he able to contribute right now, but also that there's no shortage of upside for what he can become as a player. He's an interesting player, and from a prospect perspective, he's a little bit unusual. How do you categorize and assess a player that has tremendous feel for the game paired with otherworldly floor vision and passing ability, but they still clearly have plenty of room to grow in some other areas of the game? He was one of the youngest players in the entire NBA last season, but if you watched any number of games during his rookie year, you'd see a guy who has the passing ability of a 10-year veteran point guard. From day one of his NBA career, Giddey proved that his feel for the game and ability to make advanced passes was going to be enough to keep him in the league for years to come. But the other areas of his game were where people seemed to raise some questions. Fortunately, Josh Giddey has shown significant improvements this season, which shouldn't really come as a surprise. Giddey was one of the youngest players in the entire NBA last year. It's pretty unreasonable to think that a 19-year-old had not only plenty of room to grow, but also the ability to do so, given everything that we had already seen from him. His passing ability continues to shine, but he's progressed a lot as a scorer, and this is actually going to help bolster his passing ability even further. Being a passing savant is one thing, but without the ability to score the basketball and keep defenses honest, it becomes a little bit limited in its applications. There's only so much that you can do without actually drawing defensive attention when it comes to passing and playmaking. The best playmakers in the NBA are able to do two things. One, draw defensive attention and manipulate defenses with the threat of their scoring. And two, use the manipulation of the defense to generate scoring opportunities for their teammates. Guys like Luka Doncic and Ja Morant do this really, really well. For Luka, he's a 3-level scorer and one of the best post-up scorers in the NBA, so he can draw double teams and use that to kick out to his teammates for threes. Ja Morant is an unbelievable athlete and slasher, and when he collapses defenses on his drives, he can send it out to the perimeter or find cutters to the basket for high percentage looks. Now, Josh Giddey, at least last year, didn't really warrant a ton of defensive attention. He was a pretty unremarkable finisher, shooting only 57% at the rim, and his three-point shooting was equally unimpressive at only 27%. But this year, he's bumped that efficiency at the rim up to 63%, and his three-point efficiency is up to 36%. Josh Giddey is far from a prolific scorer, and to be completely honest, it feels a little unrealistic to think that he's ever going to become one. But that's the thing, he doesn't need to. You don't need to be a 25-plus point per game 3-level scorer to warrant extra defensive attention. Establishing yourself as a reliable finisher in the pick and roll and a reliable spot-up shooter can be just enough for defenses to feel like they have to give you a little bit of extra attention. He's shown some noticeable improvement in the finishing department, doing a better job at attacking his defender's front foot to force difficult hip rotations and keeping the ball away from his defender using his body in order to get to the rim and finish. What he lacks in sheer foot speed, he makes up for with his size, showing that he can finish over and through contact against tough defense. He doesn't need a completely open lane to get to the rim because he can leverage that frame to keep his defender at bay and get layups off over them. One of the biggest developments that I've noticed is that Josh Giddey is flashing some go-to moves to shake his defenders, whether it's through jab steps to get them off balance, spin moves when driving to the paint, or post fakes to leave his defenders in the dust for an easy shot at the basket. Real quick, guys, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Underdog Fantasy. With Underdog's NBA Pick'em, they make it super simple to win big. They've got individual player props to pick from for every single NBA game. All you have to do is pick higher or lower, and once you have your slip, make your wager and submit. You can make wagers for as low as $1 and win anywhere from 3 times your money all the way up to 20 times your money. And now with Pick'em Insurance, you can still win money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Sign up using code AlexHoops with the link in the description today, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Be sure to play responsibly, and thanks again to Underdog for sponsoring today's video. Another area of the scoring department that Giddey has shown major improvement in is his perimeter shooting. He's shooting 36% from 3, a massive increase from his rookie season, where he shot only 26.3% from 3. Volume-wise, he's making the same number of threes as last year for the most part, but he's taking fewer attempts. This much of an increase bodes extremely well for his future perimeter shooting development, If he could improve by almost 10 percentage points from his age 19 season to his age 20 season, it's certainly not unreasonable to think that he could continue to get even better. Do I think that he's going to develop into some volume shooter from beyond the arc and hit 39% of his threes on 7 or 8 attempts per night? Probably not. That's a little bit unrealistic. But I think it's pretty reasonable that he can get to league average 3-point efficiency, if not slightly better, on 5 or 6 attempts per night. That seems completely realistic. Another really promising indicator to keep an eye on is his free throw shooting. Free throw shooting is really good at projecting future shooting success, and Josh Giddey struggled a little bit during his first year in the league, shooting only 71% from the line. But this year he's bumped that number up to 78%. This is a really promising sign that he's on the right path towards becoming a solid shooter and scorer as a whole. These improvements when it comes to his shooting aren't really that surprising when you look at one of the most underrated signings of the offseason that the Thunder made, and it wasn't even for a player. It was for Chip Engelland to come in as an assistant coach. Engelland is well known for being an excellent skills coach and helping young players develop their shooting prowess, and it's not a stretch to think that this signing has played a significant role in helping Josh Giddey grow as a shooter, and it's going to continue to do so for years to come. Now, all of these improvements when it comes to his scoring have major implications for opening up his playmaking ability, and we've actually already seen the results of it this season. Now, when he drives baseline, he's garnering the attention of the help defender, his primary defender, and making a third defender cautious of his drive, which allows for kickouts like this one that lead to high percentage corner threes. He's more aggressive driving in the pick and roll, drawing Murray to fight over the screen, Michael Porter Jr. to stay in the paint and help, and Jokic sliding over to tag his drive, which leaves the kick out to Shai on the perimeter for the catch and shoot 3. With him and Muscala running the pick and roll, look at how Serge Ibaka is positioned on defense. He's down in the paint in case Giddey decides to drive, since Jrue Holiday and Portis are guarding the pick and roll more towards the level of the screen, which might not happen if Giddey hadn't developed his 3-point shot as much as he has. They have to honor him, or he would just be able to pull it off of the screen. This leaves Robinson Earl open in the corner for Giddey to sling it to him for the shot. The Nuggets are set up where they have someone available to guard Giddey if he accepts the screen from Poku, but additionally, Jokic is staying in the paint instead of guarding Robinson Earl on the perimeter in case Giddey rejects the screen and drives up the middle. Since there's weak coverage on JRE, Giddey slings it out to him, and Jokic doesn't even have enough time to recover to alter or impact the shot. All of this goes to show just how much more defenses are having to honor Giddey as far as scoring goes. He's not a non-factor when it comes to putting points on the board, and defenses understand now that if they do ignore him, he's able to put the ball in the basket. I'm a firm believer that one of the biggest things holding Josh Giddey back when it comes to scoring is his confidence. During his rookie season, he didn't really look that comfortable when he was being relied on to score the basketball. This year, that hasn't been the case at all. He's made huge strides already, and he's not even played 2 full seasons in the NBA yet. His offensive game is going to be rock solid if given enough time, and while he's definitely got some room to grow defensively, he has shown signs that he can develop into, at the very least, a reliable defensive presence. The question I find myself asking is, what position makes the most sense for Giddey to be guarding on a nightly basis? He's unique when it comes to his size because he's not quite tall enough to guard bigs, but he also doesn't have the lateral quickness and foot speed yet to reliably guard ball handlers. As with his offensive game, this is going to be something that we see ironed out over the coming years as his role is more clearly defined and this roster is fleshed out a little bit. But too many people were ready to draw so many definitive conclusions on Josh Giddey and his ceiling as a player after his rookie season, which just doesn't make any sense to me. How can you draw such concrete conclusions on a player who is 1, so young, and 2, before they've even had a chance to play 2 seasons in the NBA? I get it if it's an older rookie that comes in and looks completely hopeless on the court, but that hasn't been the case at all for Josh Giddey. His development really is right on track, and I'm confident that he has nowhere to go but up from here. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, let me know in the comments and be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's the #1 way to support me and help me continue making content. Thanks again to Underdog for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to click the link below to sign up now. I'm going to be doing some daily drafts here in the future, so go sign up so that you don't miss any. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.